Hello, I'm Larry Bures, and like you, I'm wild about Washington. Late summer and fall is a good time to fish for salmon in South Puget Sound. Here are some good suggestions to help make your day on the Sound a great day. Of course, when it comes to fishing, there are no bad days, even if you don't catch a fish.
We were trolling herring about 50 feet deep. Today we were using downriggers, but you can also use banana weights. They work pretty well, and we were using cut plug herring as the bait of choice today. We trolled along pretty much along the depths between 70 and 90 feet, letting the line out about 50 feet, then dropping our downriggers down to about 50 feet. It seemed to be where the fish were biting today. Of course, that'll vary depending on the day, the tide, and the weather. We're in a fairly heavily populated area, and there are quite a few people that come out and enjoy this fishery, especially this time of year. There are several different kinds of salmon that we encounter. The Chinook are here, coho are here, and this being an odd year, the pinks are here. This year we have a selective fishery on Chinook where you're only allowed to keep fish with a clipped adipose fin, and so when you encounter a wild fish or a fish that's not of legal size, you need to release that fish, and it cannot be brought into the boat. Release the fish as quickly as possible to give the thing the best chance for survival. The reason we have a selective fishery this year is that we have a high concentration of hatchery fish down in South Sound, and it's a conservation issue with wild Chinook. Chinook in Puget Sound are listed under the Endangered Species Act as a threatened species. Therefore, by going to a selective fishery, we are providing conservation and protection measures for the wild stocks. If we all pay attention to the rules and release the fish, the wild fish that we encounter, we can continue to have longer and more enjoyable seasons. This is a wonderful fishery for pretty much anybody, particularly this year with the pinks. There are a lot of fish available. There are a lot of different fishing techniques, and some of them are pretty easy. It's a matter of dropping your bait in the water and just waiting for something to come along. There were a variety of different methods. Like I said, cut plug herring behind a weight. A lot of people will also put a flasher in front of your herring. Another device instead of a herring would be a coyote spoon or some other spoon. This works pretty well in different places, different times. And also jigging. Here's an example of a dart that can be used for jigging. So, oh, and one more piece of bait that sometimes people don't think of, a hoochie. Fun little device there. That does pretty well, trailing behind another flasher. So it's a fun fishery in that there's several ways in which you can go out and fish and catch fish.
Here are other fishing opportunities across Washington. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is a science-based agency that also provides natural resource-based recreation opportunities. It is the agency's goal to provide those opportunities to all citizens.
The department has lots of opportunities out there for folks that have different types of disabilities. For example, for hunters, there are disabled hunter permits. There are accommodations for the type of equipment that you can use, including archery adaptive equipment and crossbows for hunters with disabilities, and the ability to shoot from a motor vehicle if you have a permit. There's lots of other opportunities in the fishing world as well. If you're a fly fisher, for example, in some of the lakes, there's an opportunity to use by special permit. You can use different type of casting gear that is not otherwise allowed by other fishers. There's opportunities for different drawing permits for elk and deer seasons that allow you to compete only against other hunters with disabilities, which might up your odds of drawing a tag. And they also have opportunities in the road access entry program where you can drive behind locked gates where other hunters are walking in. So the opportunity exists for you to have a little more equal playing field and to get you out there and participate in the sports and the wildlife viewing like everyone else. One of the expanded parts of the Disabled Hunter Permit Program allows you to take a companion hunter with you, and that person is able to help you retrieve your animal, shoot your animal, and you can even designate them to be the total shooter, or you can shoot it yourself. It allows you to bring them with you into some locked gate areas, and they can ride with you in the vehicle and do other things that you otherwise couldn't do if you weren't a hunter companion. There's opportunities for waterfowl hunters that want to hunt from shore blinds. There's blinds in each region of the state located on waterways, and hunters with disabilities have the opportunity to reserve some of those blinds in advance and or have preference in occupying those blinds if you get to them early enough in the morning. If your passion for wildlife viewing, there are several opportunities statewide where some of them have trails. There are some blinds that offer great photo opportunities that have accessible pathways to them, and are also available to go out and just sit back and be a part of nature and enjoy the sounds, the sights of the birds and the animals out there in different areas of the state. Particularly snow geese watching up in the Skagit area is really a great opportunity with a couple of accessible trails out to blind and out to viewing areas that offer great views, and it's the same spot everyone else is out there watching them at. So don't give up the things that you like to do, things that you've lost doing because you had a disability or your abilities are diminishing. Go out and enjoy what's out there. Take advantage of some of the opportunities and the accommodations that allow you to get out and participate. Don't give up on fishing or hunting or wildlife viewing. Take full advantage of the opportunities and advancements in technology and the advancements in some of the program access issues. Take advantage of the permits and the opportunities that let you get out there and fully participate in hunting, fishing, wildlife viewing, whatever it is you like to do in the outdoors.
Agency staff and volunteers recently conducted a goose roundup. These geese live in the Spokane area and spend too much of their time on golf courses and a college soccer field. We're using leg banding and collaring to help federal authorities find a solution to the problem.
Today we're at Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington. We are trapping, banding, and collaring Canada geese as part of a research project, and we want to understand the way that these urban geese move around their environment and what habitats they use. Urban Canada geese have been increasing in numbers for the last 10 years, and Spokane is starting to experience a large enough population that we're receiving some nuisance complaints, and so we'd like to understand which birds are really comprising those that are a nuisance. So is it the breeding birds? Is it the wintering birds? Where are they nesting? What habitats are they using? So we don't really know that much about this population, so this banding effort is an attempt to learn more about these birds. We've received complaints from Gonzaga University as well as City of Spokane Parks and Rec. And they've asked us to come out and look at this population to see what kind of management actions would help them with their nuisance problems. The problems are really concentrations of birds on grassy areas and in water. And fecal material is causing the grass to die back, and it's especially a problem on athletic fields, picnic areas, not something that's real compatible with human recreation sometimes. So that's the majority of the nuisance complaints. We haven't had any complaints about aggressive geese that I'm aware of. One of the things that is attractive about an urban environment to Canada geese is the abundance of green grass in proximity to water, which is really provides safety to these birds. It's really a perfect environment that we've created in suburbia. Spokane is a really good example of that. There's a lot of water here. There's a lot of green grass, and the birds have all the food, water, and shelter that they really need, and so they don't have a lot of reasons to leave the city. We have attached neck collars that have a code. They're a white collar with a black 4-letter code. We are hoping that people will report sightings of those collars, and they can be reported to 1-800-327-BAND, and that's the USGS Bird Banding Laboratory. They also have a website. We're hoping that people will report sightings of these collars to help us understand whether these birds really are moving out of the urban environment at all, or whether they stay here year-round. This will give us the opportunity to identify individual geese, tell us a little bit about their movement year-round. Once we determine whether these birds are exposed, for example, to any hunting pressure, if for example, they're not exposed to any hunting pressure, then that opens the door for some other management activities. We could consider finding out where the birds are nesting, doing some nest removals. That's one potential management activity. Hazing is also really common to try in urban environments to discourage them from using their favorite places. If you can cause the geese to become less concentrated, then the effect on the grassy areas is going to be less. So there's no perfect solution to urban goose problems. In addition to Wildlife Services and the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, today we had help from volunteers with Ducks Unlimited and the Washington Waterfowlers Association, and they generously got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, some of them, to drive over here and round up geese at 5 in the morning. We couldn't have done it without their help. This is a great example of the partnership that we have with those two organizations.
Here's where you can see some of Washington's wildlife in the coming weeks. This has been Wild About Washington, brought to you by the employees of the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Working together, we can keep Washington's outdoor heritage for future generations. Thank you for watching.